Chapter 24 Comprehension. Read this passage about the apple tree. Grandfather was sitting in the shade of a big apple tree in front of his house. His grandchildren were happily eating the delicious apples from the tree. "Who planted this tree here, Grandfather?" asked one of the children. "Come, I'll tell you how this tree came to be here," said their grandfather. He began, "I came to live here more than 50 years ago. One day, I was standing just about where this apple tree now stands. I was complaining to my neighbor that I had no money. 'Oh,' I said, 'how happy I would be if I had a lot of money.' The neighbor, who was a very wise man, said to me, 'It is so simple. All you need to do is to begin well, right where you are standing. Hidden in the ground are hundreds of rupees. It's up to you to dig them out.' I was then a young man, without much understanding. The next day I dug a huge hole in the ground, but I found nothing. The next morning, when my neighbor saw the hole, he began to laugh. 'Foolish man, I didn't mean that you had to dig a hole. Now I will tell you what I actually meant.' The neighbor then gave me an apple sapling and said, 'Take this and plant it in the hole you have dug. Look after it well. In a few years from now, when this sapling becomes a tree, you will start getting money. This apple plant will reward you.' I planted the apple sapling and looked after it well. The tree grew strong, and over the years, it has become the great tree that you see in front of you. I have been selling its fruit all these years. This tree has certainly given me back hundreds and hundreds of rupees. Even today, I earn money by selling its delicious apples. I have never forgotten the lesson which my neighbor taught me. Little plants will grow to bear abundant fruits someday, if only you can take good care of the plants you have today." The snowdrop. A snowdrop is a flower that grows in cold areas. It often pushes itself up through snow-covered ground. It was winter time and everything was covered with snow. Cold winter winds blew everywhere, but there was something that was snug and warm. This was a little flower, still a bud. It lay in the soil below the ground. One day, it rained and the rain trickled through the snow, down into the ground. Later, a pointed and slender sunbeam pierced down through the snow. It tapped on the bud. "Come in," said the flower. "I can't do that," said the sunbeam. "I'm not strong enough. I shall be stronger when it is spring." "When will it be spring?" the flower asked every little sunbeam that tapped on its door. The flower grew quite tired of waiting. "I feel quite cramped. I must stretch myself, rise a little and look out." The flower stretched itself and pushed and pushed. The ground had been covered by all the little sunbeams. The soil had become soft. The flower shot up with another pale green bud on its stalk and some long narrow leaves on either side. "You are a little too early," said the wind. However, all the sunbeams sang, "Welcome, welcome." The flower raised its head and unfolded its petals. The petals were pure white and had green stripes. The flower stood gracefully as if wearing a white dress. It bowed its head and raised it again to smile at the sunbeams. Every day it grew stronger. Soon it was spring. "Oh!" shouted the children as they ran into the garden. "Spring is here! See the snowdrop! There it stands so fresh and so beautiful."